Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel, Real Money, Real Talk. Today we're going to talk about the 5 top reasons why you should have a real estate agent. So the housing market here has been very hot and everyone is talking about buying a home or looking into buying a home. So we want to talk about why you should have a real estate agent and what to look out for.
My name is Sandy Gum. I'm an insurance and private equity advisor. Welcome to my channel, Real Money, Real Talk. And remember to share my videos. If you like our videos, click the subscribe buttons and turn on the ring bell, and we'll look forward to your feedback.
So my name is Gina and I will be the host today, and let's get started on today's video.
So let's get started for our video. For today's video, we will talk about how do you choose the right real estate agent for yourself and why. What's the benefits to choose a real estate agent. But before that, we would like to share our personal experience that what we have worked with real estate agent in the past and sharing some tips and our personal experience. So maybe I'll pass over to Gina. Like, I remember that you bought a home in the past, and maybe share some experience in the past, like how you work with the real estate agents.
Basically, we chose our real estate agent because it was a family friend of ours. But my agent was very knowledgeable, and also they were willing to listen to what our needs and wants are and have our best interest at heart. Knowing our budget and finding places that would potentially interest us and taking us to showings, arranging all the appointments, making sure that everything is needed and explain all the details to us. Also, there's a lot of small minor details that a real estate agent may be able to point out to you. For example, if they notice that something may need fixing, repairs, they are very knowledgeable in arranging somebody to get a quote on that repair, or even letting you know how much approximately it would be costing you, so that you can keep that in mind if you were to purchase the place.
Very good to share. So for my personal experience, because my industry, I handled all the insurance, so that includes for life insurance, home insurance, or even commercial. So I work, my industry basically work really closely with real estate agents for helping people when they purchase a home, they'll come to us for home insurance. And I want to share my personal experience when Gina mentioned about, really to be able to work with a real estate agent that really works best for your interests, that's knowledgeable, is super important, because one of the stories I want to share is that I had come across with a realtor. So basically what happened is the client actually contacted me to buy a home insurance, right? Need a consultation, what are the options for them. But unfortunately, this client isn't really knowledgeable in terms it's a first home buyer, right? Doesn't have a lot of knowledge in real estate or even for home insurance per se. So I asked about a little bit more details. It's a duplex basically, and I asked a bit more details about the strata basically, the strata laws, some information about the strata. And seems like the client isn't really understanding what I was talking about. So I ended up just simply getting a contact info from the realtor so I can get some of the information in order to know what insurance I need to provide to this particular client. And then it turned out to be that realtor had absolutely no idea, about the lot at all. Does not know, just like, isn't the home insurance about the same thing? Did not knowing that the lot is actually stratified. So things coming like that one, it's super important that make sure that you actually work with the agent that works best for your interests, right? Really knows ins and outs, knows about the market, because at the end of the day, that's what you're paying for their service, right? So I would like to share the 5 top, basically the tips to choose your right agent, and this is really giving you a non-biased or unbiased advice over here, because both myself and Gina, we are not a real estate agent, but we have seen so many agents and worked with many agents in the past, and these are really what we are seeing on the market, and hopefully this will help you, when you're looking to sell a home or buy a home that you're looking for an agent to help you going through that process. At least you're able to, using our guideline to, find the best fit agent that works best for you. Okay, so the first one is to be, number one is definitely choose the right person. Doesn't necessarily need to be super experienced per se, or top sales agent, okay? Because those ones, they are not necessarily correlated, right? When I mentioned about choosing the right person, is that person actually working best at your, best interest for you? Is that person willing to go above and beyond to find the answers for you? And having a support, kind of go behind you to support you, right? To go through that process. So I do find, be able to find that right person to understand you better. It's number one that I would suggest. What's your thoughts about it?
Having a top agent definitely has its perks because they are very knowledgeable in this area and they have a lot of clients that trust them. However, they may not have enough time to show you places or really listen to you. They are analyzing with what they know already and probably recommending things or places that they think it's best for you. Having somebody who listens to you and really put their to be in your shoes is a little bit different, because when they're not a top agent, they may have more time to take you to more places, and as you guys work together, you may point out to the agent, oh, this is not what I want, this is not what I imagined, here's what I'm more looking for, and they can be on the lookout for better things for you while they are working with you. But a top agent may not have the time to do that. So it depends on your own situation and what you're looking for and how much time you have as well.
Yeah, and when it comes down to like the right person, right? So not just the fact with how, in terms of their supporting system in place, but also like the personality, right? Like that agent's personality. Do they fit, what you're looking for, right? Are you comfortable, or like, do you feel like it's great experience working with that agent? So those are the top, I would say, one of my tips for sure, number one tips. The second tips is that you want to work with an agent that's actually detail oriented. Right, because at the end of the day, that you're not always looking at real estate transaction or documents all the time, right? Real estate agents are the one that they have fiduciary responsibility, work the best interest for you, and they are basically seeing so many transactions. They are much more familiar with these documents, to handle these real estate transactions. So, realtor who are really detail oriented will work the best for you, and that's one of my definitely my second number tips for you is that to look for someone who's actually detail oriented, right? So that kind of circulate back to my original story, right? The agent I originally talked to wasn't really truly detail oriented, right? Doesn't really know the ins and outs about the property that he was actually helping this particular client. The second story that I want to share is that it happened recently. So it was a client who reached out to me that looking for a condo insurance. And condo insurance, which I'm going to talk about in my next video to teach you a little bit more details about what to look out for condominium, buying condominiums, and what is that related to strata board and strata insurance. But basically the whole entire story was about that this particular client is looking to buy a condo insurance, and she does not know anything about the strata. Okay, whether it's strata B or strata board, or even how to contact the strata board at all. So absolutely no idea what really that is, right? But in order to buy a condo insurance, I actually need to know what kind of coverage do they require, right? To be able to match. So I asked for that information, but that's okay. If the client doesn't know, I find out the contact who can provide me those information in order for me to find the proper insurance for my clients. Again, usually realtors should have all these documents, but it happened to be that I got the contact for the realtor, called the realtor, and guess what? The realtor replied and said, well, I gave everything to my clients already. You can just contact the client. So that was the, it doesn't usually happen that way. Like I would say most real estate agents are very responsible. They take care of their clients. This is one of the rare cases again that this particular agent doesn't seem want to help more for this client. Even just simple documents that can easily obtain and send it to me, right, to help the client to better smooth for the closing. So basically it kind of throw me back to ask the client to obtain that strata policy again. So it turned out to be that I have to ask my other real estate friend just to find out the contact information for the strata board in order for me to contact them and get the information I need in order to provide insurance quote for my client. So that will be another example. So having a detail-oriented, responsible agent is super important.
Yeah, having a detail-oriented real estate agent not only is related to having the proper documents or reading all the paperwork for you, but also when you enter a new home, they may be able to identify things that is wrong with the home. For example, maybe the floorboards needs repairing, or some lights needs repairing, or they need to replace some of the appliances in the house. They can let you know that they've noticed these things and approximately how much it would cost to repair, and also a responsible and knowledgeable real estate agent would be able to provide you with contacts that you can easily get a hold of and complete all these things for you before you move in.
Yeah, and that will lead to our number 3 tips, which is actually having a real estate agent to help you go through the real estate transaction, is that you have now access to their wealth of network, right? So things that related to the property, for example, such as repairs, how do you, do some maintenance, or even looking for a network, right, different access. Realtor is actually a good center, point of contact to be able to get that. So having that support, having that access to the resources, and also that a realtor who's able to answer your questions, right, kind of walk you through the entire process is super important.
Talk about having a network. Usually a realtor is very knowledgeable of the area, so they should pay attention to if you have children, what schools is around the area, if you need transit, what kind of buses or trains are near your area, how long it would take for you to commute to work every day. They should all know that information as well, so you can kind of realize, how long would it take me to get to work or take my kids to school. So that network of information is very important as well.
So for sure, like kind of relate back to what Gina just mentioned. So having a real estate agent that is actually really know well about the market that you want to buy is very important, right? It could be from, for example, let's say you want to buy from an A city, right? But if this realtor only knows about B city market really well, that wouldn't be correlated to you, right? If you want to buy a property from the A city. So that's very important. Now that leads to the 4th tip, is an agent that really speaks to understand what your situation, what you're going through, your budget, which Gina kind of mentioned about it, to really summarize that you don't want an agent to be pushy, right? To be very salesy, to be kind of selling you on FOMO, that's fear of missing out. Right, you want to have a proper advice that gives you all the different options to kind of go through to really guide you the process of buying or selling a property. What's your thought about that?
Somebody who would listen to you and kind of pay attention to what you mentioned at every property you have seen. And once you narrow down something you like, they're in your best interest to get the best price as possible, not just thinking about, you'll get this deal over and done with in the quickest time and earning their commission, but really taking the time to make sure that they got the best for you. So that's very important.
And that leads to the number 5 tips, which is having a realtor that is a good communicator and very patient as well too. Because whether you're buying or selling home, it's already a stressful situation, right? And that's why you want to hire someone to represent you, to help you go through this process, make it as smooth as possible. and distress. Take out all these stress out of your shoulder. It's super important. A realtor needs to be a good communicator. Reason why is because you may have questions or things along the way. That person needs to be able to support you that way and answer all the questions. Really kind of give you feedback, right? The market analysis and then overall comprehensive pictures to guide you through that process.
Having a good communicator means they generally have better relationships with other realtors, and having a good relationship with other realtors is going to go a long way in terms of negotiating and pricing and everything. So it doesn't mean just we look at the actual price of the house, but all these little minor things that they might be able to get you on top, get the seller to repair everything before you move in, or get the price to decrease before you move in. These are very important things, and a good communicator would definitely go the extra mile for you to communicate that to the other real estate agent to work something out with the buyer.
And last but not least, I do want to share 5 more tips why you should have a real estate agent. Now, first of all, I do want to make it very clear to buy or sell a property, whether you're in the USA or in Canada, you actually, in fact, Matt, you don't necessarily have to have a realtor, okay, to buy and sell a property. Okay, so if you're someone who is really completely want to save all the commissions or save all the fees, well, by all means, you don't necessarily need a realtor to do that, right? But I want to let you know that what the value is having a real estate agent, because at the end of the day, that's what they are there for, right? And by law, you don't need to have a real estate agent, right? So if you are someone like this, if you can't do the negotiation yourself, right? If you don't have the network to access to buyers or sellers, right? And you don't know the process, how it looks like, you don't know how to read documentation, then you are someone, right, that definitely needs to be better fit and finding the right agents for yourself. Okay. But if you're someone who already knows ins and outs and you just really want to be cheap out the cheap, instead of hiring a realtor and then bargain the fee per se, I tell people, if you don't really respect a profession, might as well just do it yourself. Okay, so I want to share the 5 top reasons why you should have a real estate agent, because that's what I've seen. I've seen transactions that have done without real estate agent and with real estate agent. And just based on providing home insurance services, I can tell you the one without the real estate agent tends to have a bit more problems for their home versus the one that actually have real estate agent. Okay, I'm not saying all the transactions are that way, but it's just the percentage seems to be a little bit higher. The ones that properties have a bit more problems without the agents. Okay, so 5 tips. First of all, the benefits of having a real estate agent is by paying attention to details for documents, right? Maybe you're going through these documents, they can find out some things that you were not aware of, right? And they can probably be utilizing their network to consult with a notary or a lawyer, right, to troubleshoot for you. So that would be the number 1 thing. The second thing is because they are licensed, right? They are regulated by the government, so they have fiduciary duties to be best interest for you, right, in terms of privacy, confidentiality, things that they cannot break the rule. Okay. The third one is, of course, I kind of mentioned a few times, access to their resources, right? It could be as simple as if I want to do a light renovations with specifically typical features, right? Who can I contact, right? Or even just, quote unquote, say, if I wanted to get an insurance, home insurance, right? Who can I contact, right? Then your realtor will be able to provide you a few network that you can contact, okay? The fourth one is a market analyze, right? At the end of the day, every location is a little bit different. You want to have the realtor kind of give you a bigger pictures, where the trend is going to go, to what the market looks like, what's the neighborhood, like school, hospital, like these are prime locations. And believe it or not, sometimes realtor have good deals that's off market, right? So if you don't know about off market deals, it happens a bit more in the States. In Canada, it's a lot less, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen, right? So I do know a few of my realtor friends, they will tell me a lot of time they actually buy it themselves without actually giving out to clients. But like if you really have a really good relationship with your realtor, guess what? These special off-market deals were actually presented to you, and you can actually buy it at a very, very heavily discounted price. Okay, and that's why I say like being able to utilize realtor resources is super important. Okay, you may get more than you actually thought. Last but not least is having a real estate agent represent you, because they are in the business is actually in negotiation, right? If you hire an agent as a seller, right, on representing the seller side, then you want to make sure that your property is well presented with proper staging, photos, have a really good negotiation skills, right, to the buyers, right, so that you're able to sell at top dollars. Now, if you are a buyer's agent, right, you hire an agent for the buyer side, then you definitely want to make sure that the bargaining skill is there, right, to be bargained at a mutual agreement rather than overselling you something, a property that's kind of stretch your budget too much. Or sometimes you can also bargain certain different things, right, that mutual comes with a mutual agreement. So again, that negotiation skills is what the real estate agent can provide. They've been trained for it. That's why they're here for you to represent you.
Yeah, so Sandy has created a great summary for us. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe our channel and leave a comment if you have any suggestions on what you want to see in the next video. So see you guys next week.